What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Believe in USC podcast on this very happy post-rivalry week. I'm Kristen Lago, joined by LenDale White, and I haven't stopped smiling since Saturday. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me either. I got my old SC gear on the boulevard, sent me. I'm feeling great. I knew we would kick the old powder blues. You know what? DTR, I appreciate the chalkboard talk, man, because I think that's what got us over.
Yep.
I want to give a special shout out to my dog, Austin Jones, man. I've been talking to him for a while. And I just like the way he's always kept his composure. I like the way that the camaraderie within that group where they all cheer for one another. I'm happy that he had that success. So I definitely had to, get that out there because I didn't go to the game, but I heard the commentators and they were saying like, they'll be hurting without T-Dye. And again, we miss T-Dye for sure. He's one
Yeah.
of my favorite guys. And you could tell by how the teammates love him, what kind of guy he is. But I just kind of knew we weren't going to miss a beat because I seen him itching and I knew that he was waiting for him to get his, chance. So it's awesome when you can look back at, running back you or tailback you and, rely on your tailbacks to get some jobs done. So Austin, I salute you, man. Good job.
And we're going to get into all of it because there were a few, I think, surprising heroes of that USC UCLA game. I want to get into all of it. First, I do want to thank our presenting sponsor, though, Bet Online. Of course, basketball and football are back, and Bet Online still that number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You can always go there to find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, game trends, all of it. That's at Bet Online. Plus, as your continued source for all sports wagering information, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, giveaways, all season long. It's always the fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports and events, whether that's the NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf, you name it, they've got it. Just head to betonline.ag to join. Get 50% off that welcome bonus with your first deposit. All you got to do is type in the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. We're going to do it every week. Thank you, Bet Online. Make sure you go take advantage of that promo.
That V and believe is for victory too, by the way.
Hey, any chance to throw it? I've been throwing it up all weekend. I'm telling you, I was on the morning show today. I'm wearing my little fight on necklace right here.
Yeah, I got to
This is
get
a
me
good
a V
day.
for victory. That'd be nice. I might get
So
me a
I
nice
want to
little.
I have to ask you because I remember when we were previewing the UCLA game, you threw out the name Darwin Barlow and
Yeah.
you said to watch out for him. And I was thinking, he's not going to do anything in this game. And we actually saw him make probably one of the most important scores of that game. I guess,
Yeah.
how impressed are you with players like him in such a stacked, I think, team that are continuing to step up and make a difference?
So we always throw the comparisons or, try to throw out parallels to each team. And I just think back to, my days at USC when I had, myself with Reggie, Herschel, Chauncey Washington, Desmond Reed. And I can literally, if you threw any one of those guys out there, they could have, the amount of success that we had, right? So when I look at this team, and then, I know I'm a people think that I'm a Trojan just because I won national championship. Like, no, I'm a Trojan in and out. When we're losing, I talk shit. When we're winning, I love it.
Yep.
So, like, I'm a real Trojan, but I've also kept in contact with a lot of these kids. And when we get Trojans on the team, I make sure that I send them, some type of message to let them know, like, we're behind them. They're a Trojan forever. So if they ever need any advice, they can lean on me. And, Barlow was one of those guys that when he first came in, I seen, the explosiveness instantly. So I seen a couple years ago that he could make plays for us. I just also know how timing is everything, and not just the NFL, but in college, like it's all about timing. Unfortunately, again, we talk about T.Dye going down, but now he has. There's chances for him to get different reps, and I've known this for a while. That's why I
Yep.
told you if they give him the ball, he'll be able to do some stuff.
Yep.
It's just about having confidence, and I know that I've talked to him on a lot of separate occasions, and I love the young man because of who he is and like what he stands for. We have unbelievable young men right now at USC, and I think they understand what the tradition means to them. So when I'm talking to them, they embrace it. Or when I tell them like, "Hey man, you remind me of so and so that came before you," and he smiles and he lights up, and I'm like, "Yo, we're relying on you to make plays." I'm not just telling them that from a fake stand of view or a fake point of view. I'm telling them that because I know that like when they call your name, I know you can get the job done. So I'm just excited to see all these players, even Raleek, we
Mhm.
had a little freshman boo-boo there, it's a learning mistake for us all. But see, that's something that you learn as a freshman. Sometimes you think your speed is a little faster than it is, and these guys are playing those angles. They do their homework on you, 14. They know that you can get out on that edge and go. So they're going to play that. Now that he knows that, we'll see a different Raleek for the rest of the season. We'll see him put his foot down in the ground and getting up north and south. I'm just I'm happy for those guys, but I've also seen that if we run the ball in our offense, we're going to have success, and we'll take the pressure off Superman back there, which I believe sealed his deal for the Heisman Trophy. 500 yards, the most ever in this series,
Yeah, I mean,
is mind blowing because I played with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, Steve Smith, Mike Williams, and I'm thinking about Kerry Colberts and these guys, like, to think what he just did in one game, and I think he comes back again. Yeah, he comes back next year.
yeah, he's
It's
only a
like,
sophomore.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is unreal to think about, like, what we have back there. So yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, I think that he signed his Heisman. And I think if he just continues to play like that, he's going to be definitely in there in New York. That's without a question. But I think that he gets to receive that trophy because the way he's playing is outrageous.
You mentioned Caleb. I mean, we've been singing his praises all season long. I think it's just so refreshing to finally see the rest of the sports world kind of jump on the Caleb
Yeah.
Williams train and recognize his talent and recognize that he is like a Heisman Trophy
Yeah.
caliber player. I think Matt Leinart has been preaching it and tweeting it all year long, and
Yes.
everyone's been like, okay, you're a USC homer. And finally, people are giving him the respect he deserves. But how wild is it for you to think that not only is USC, 10-1 now, they clinch a spot in the Pac-12 championship, but the fact that they have a Heisman, could be a Heisman semifinalist on their roster right now, or a Blitnikoff Award winner. I mean, Jordan Addison
Yeah,
is on that semifinalist list as
for
well.
sure.
What does that tell you about the state of USC football right now after this win?
It tells you that we're rising. I wouldn't say that we're 120% back there yet. I'm just being honest with ourselves. But just selfishly, I'm so excited about what we're doing this year. I wouldn't have expected. I said at the beginning of the year we'll win 10 games, right?
Yeah.
I never expected it would be like this. I didn't think we would come out here on this wild ride and having, Caleb with the Heisman, Jordan Addison. If he doesn't go down with injury, he easily probably in the Heisman race as well. And we easily have another walk-off Biletnikoff in him. I still think that these last couple games, they can tell a tall tale, and I see him still probably walking away with it if he has the same kind of performances he's doing that, because these are great rivalry games against big opponents, and that means he's showing up when you need to
Yep.
show out, and I love to see it. I'm just happy that finally, it's crazy because USC is normally like a media dominant school, and we don't really have to, search and scratch for our media attention. But for him to go out there against a team like, and DTR, because DTR didn't go without notice, man. He's one
No,
of those
no, no.
guys that knows how to make plays. He's resilient. I mean, his thumb, you could see he taped it up. I watched him play, and I mean, second half DTR was unreal. So, I mean, my hat goes off to him. But to see Caleb win that battle in the Rose Bowl, my hat goes off to him. People like Kirk Herbstreit and these big time people, even Matt Leinart, because he played in those games. They know what it takes to win. And then in a rivalry game like that, oh yeah. I mean, I think that it's long overdue, but it shows that USC is right back where we need to be. And for those young recruits out there that are
Mhm.
looking for a place to go home, it's okay to change or do something different. You don't have to
Yeah.
ride everybody's coattail and, oh, because Bama's doing it. Look where the tides are turning. Look how it's changing, because we don't want you bandwagoners when it's too late. We want you to jump on now, because that train's starting to move and it's going downhill for sure.
We talked about the offense sort of leading the charge for USC. Let's talk about the defensive performance against UCLA. I know, of course, giving up 45 points is not great, but they also caused 3 turnovers, and we saw
Yeah,
Corey Foreman come up with the
huge.
game-saving interception. So, I guess, what did you make of their performance?
Well, I'm gonna give Grinch first half. Grinch, I applaud, because we should have scored 3 times there, and they had to hold their own. Um, to keep Charbonnet in
Mm-hmm.
check the way we did, I gotta, first off, I salute him. I got to. You gotta, give flowers where they're due. Second half, though, it's like we reverted back to something again where we just was allowing him to just throw the ball all over the field. I seen where they were fake blitz and dropping people back in zones the same way they did at the end of the game, where Corey, ended the game. But it's like we should do a lot more that confuse these quarterbacks, you know, get in their head. in this level, they're not, Peyton or Tom, or even they're not that.
Not yet.
They're
Yeah.
really good, but they're not that good yet. You know what I'm saying? So when you throw stuff at these kids, sometimes they react too quick, or they throw the ball out and they think somebody's open where he's really not. So I would like to see our defense mix it up like they did in the first half. I'm not sure if they did or not. I mean, I watched the game pretty closely, and I wasn't seeing some of the same stuff, but I'm just proud of those guys because again, last week I said it on the show, it's going to be high scoring. It's going to come down to whoever makes one of the last plays on
Yep.
defense,
We
and
definitely
like
called that. Yeah.
like clockwork, Corey comes through for us. So that's all that I care about. I don't care how many points anybody scores as long as we come out on top. Of course, it's not looking good for us, or sometimes they're like, hey, you need a better win than that. But hey, the only thing that matters is when you get the victory and the W on the other side of that. So, I could go on hours about how the defense should have did certain things, but what they did do is get a win. So that's all that matters.
And I think lastly, as we recap UCLA, I'm just curious what you think. We talked how they weren't talking before. They were kind of letting DTR do the talk. What do you think that locker room celebration was like once they finally got in there and were able to chop it up?
Yeah, I was on live with Corey Foreman for a little bit, and so I got to see a little bit of it. But you can see that feeling is back. Like I know I don't know how you feel after you lose like they did last year with the 60 plus and him signing out. So I can only imagine how it sits with you for an entire year, and then you finally get your get back on their field the same way. So I can only imagine going into that locker room. Yeah, you talking your talk. You're expressing exactly what you should be, and that's that we just kicked their ass. And it doesn't matter how it happened, but that's how it happened. And for this next year, powder blue or you UCLA ruins, you got to deal with that. This we're not talking basketball right now. We're talking football, and we kicked y'all's ass. You got to take it.
And just because I'm curious your perspective on this, do you think that because Chip Kelly, with the talented team that he has, lost to lost to USC, maybe they get a mid-tier bowl? What do you think is his future with the Bruins?
It's crazy. I've never been a Chip fan. Again, on these shows, I've been telling you for weeks that Chip doesn't win the game that he's supposed to. He's doesn't surprise me. Like when he's supposed to go out there and win, when he has the talent to win it, he always finds a way to lose. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He's just not a great coach, and they'll probably definitely get to a bowl game. I mean, UCLA is a great pool right now. They're going to score a lot of points, and you can show that their fans are back. So I don't think that they get to a bad bowl game. I just don't think that they get to a top tier because I don't feel like the committee, so to speak, thinks that Chip can probably get a game done unless they just feel like it's going to sell out or bring a heavy crowd. But I'm sorry, I don't know if Chip's on the hot seat. I don't see how he is, just considering
their record.
But those guys are. I'm pretty sure Charbonnet's going to leave. He's going to be a first-round draft pick.
DTR gone.
He's gone. I'm not sure what tricks he has up his sleeve. So it's like, if they're offering somewhere else, maybe he leaves. I don't know, but maybe he has, something in his heart where he feels like he can still dominate USC, or maybe that victory last year, gave him another year. So we'll see. But we own your ass for this year.
That's what I was about to say. And one thing I think was really cool, I don't know what it looked like watching it from home, but being in the Rose Bowl and seeing it packed again with people who actually cared about the game because it meant something, I think tells you a lot about where college football is at here in SoCal. And I think that's awesome to see.
It's alive and screaming. Like Lincoln said at his presser, I seen him. But if you can't go to USC and there's just a scholarship mix up, or we giving out too many scholarships and UCLA has come, I wouldn't see why you don't go to UCLA. I mean, if you think about their campus and where it's at, they got great stuff going on at UCLA. I'm just not sold on Chip Kelly, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen, football in LA is alive and kicking, and you don't want to miss this train because you talk about NIL and you talk about money in this new age of football. In LA, there's a lot to be gotten out there, so we'll see what's going on.
Exciting time to be a Trojan. They take down the first of their rivals. We're going to be back to break down the second rivalry that is coming up very soon at Notre something.
Notre Shame.
Yeah, we'll be back to talk about Notre Shame, the last game of the regular season. But right now, USC 10-1, number 5 in the nation, a Heisman hopeful, lots of things to be proud of. So looking good out here. All right, this is the Believe in USC podcast presented by Bet Online. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna keep it recording.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. Let's rock
I'm
out.
also not gonna change, so we're doing this in
I'm
the
not
same
changing.
time. Great.
They know it's all right. It's a
Now we're
recap
gonna
and
talk
a
about some Notre Dame.
rewinding. Exactly. Let's get into it.
Second.
The best part of the year.
Yeah, I want to hear
Much as I
your.
can't stand UCLA, and that's really a rivalry, but when I was playing school, they were our little brothers. I'm gonna be honest.
That's why I want to talk to you about the rivalry here.
Notre Dame was always like the one that was like top maybe 15, maybe 10
Okay.
at the time, had some good
Yeah,
players.
they're like
Going in.
respectable as a football school. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like. That's
No.
why I feel like it's different.
When we're talking about like football gods or football of the
Yeah.
like the conferences or people that run it, you have like a Alabama, and I'm not saying that just because of recent. I'm saying because of like you just have to put them up there because Bear
Yeah.
Bryant and his past. You got Michigan, you got like Ohio State, you got Texas, you know what I mean? Nebraska, you got
Yeah.
USC, but you definitely
You
gotta
can't
have
not
Notre
mention
Dame
Notre
in
Dame.
there.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
way around it. They are
I
one of
agree.
those teams.
I agree.
As
All right.
much as I hate to say it.
Yeah. Well, you gotta give respect where it's due. We're not
Yeah.
done.
Exactly.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Believe in USC Football podcast. I'm Kristen Lago, joined by LenDale White. We are very happy again. USC takes down UCLA, gets ready for a second week of rivalry madness. Last game of the regular season, Notre Dame. I can tell you're excited over there.
Yeah, this is the in Trojan life. I mean, it's good to bang up and beat up on your little brothers in those powder blues. That's one of the greatest rivalries, and it'll never change because it's so close. And again, we go to DD Reese and we take their girlfriends as well. But the greatest like rivalry, I think, in sports, and I think there might be one other one that's close to it, especially in college sports, because
Mhm.
it's the same week, and I'll give it Ohio, Michigan. I gotta give it. They definitely bang out, but this USC Notre Dame matchup, there's people all over the world that look forward to this matchup. And I now that I haven't played in it for, I think like 2 years, I've been
Yeah,
removed for
that's it.
2 years. I get to just see so many different fans, and I've been in all over parts of the world. One thing I know is that Notre Dame fans are heavy and alive, and they
They are.
believe.
They are. They go hard. I
They
love going over
definitely they
there as a
do.
fan because it's fun.
Yes, there's nothing like this rivalry, man, because they believe every year that it's the year, and they with their slow start, but then they're fast, like how they're ending this season. This is marks for one of the best matchups of the year, and one of the best matchups in this uh matchup for a long time. So I'm excited to see it.
I know it should be a lot of fun. Before we get into this year's rivalry, though, I do want to ask you about your experience playing against Notre Dame. I guess if you put yourself back into the Cardinal and Gold uniform, like what do you remember most about your games against Notre Dame? Yeah, let's start there.
Well, honestly, my games, the more memorable games probably was the Bush push,
Yeah,
obviously.
I was like, I didn't want to know if I should just bring that up right off
Nah,
the
the Bush push is, I mean, you gotta call it how you call it. Let's be honest, that Bush push game was unreal.
Yeah.
And just thinking about what it stood for at the time, what we were playing for, how
Mm-hmm.
many games in a row we had won. And to get a walk off like that at the end of that game, I can remember, getting in the middle of the field and doing a knee and like pointing up to the sky, like, I mean, you did it, man. I don't know how we pulled that off, but we pulled it off. That was probably the most memorable because before that, I think we beat them by a total of 62 points the 2 years. And unfortunately, we got tied. Whittingham fired. It was like we used to destroy them
Fortunately.
again. So when USC is USC, it's kind of hard for me to you know Notre Dame is really good, but we find a way to go out there and we show out. They come in, they get to come to see us now. So like out west, it's just a different ball game. When this game is on the line, it's after Thanksgiving. It's nothing like this game in the world, man. So I'm super excited. I know that this offense is pumped up and ready to go. Again, we got question marks on defense, but I think this is the week we get Gentry back. I think they held him back last week for this week. I hope that's the case because I just think that if he comes back, he gives the defense just that spark. They found that spark plug last week. I think we need Gentry back to give us another spark plug this week. But I do feel like this is going to be another one of them games where our offense takes control and we score a decent amount of points, high 30s.
Let's go there. Wait, one more about the Bush Push, just because I still remember where I was watching this as a little girl. I actually turned off my TV. I remember I went into my room, turned it off because I was so afraid we were going to lose as like a little, I don't know how old I was, but my parents were watching in the living room and I just heard screaming. And I was like, oh, something must have happened.
Yeah.
As a player there, like, what do you remember that environment being like? Like, did you know he was like over? I'm just like curious what the scene was like, if you can still remember it.
I
If
just
not that you're that old. Sorry, that
no,
was
no, it's not that at all. Hey, you're good, you know that, but I'm kind of an old man thinking about that because I mean it was in 2000, what, 6, 2005, 2000. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, um, what I do remember is that like when people think about like sports and like yes, you do this to play in the NFL, right? But when I think of like sports, like I think back of like on games like that because you
Yeah.
think back of like driving into the stadium. I remember the fans rocking our bus and shaking our bus and getting off and going through there walking there booing us and it was just a crazy lead up to that game. Remember, warming up and thinking how thick the grass was and I think one of our players got hurt that game, so we were already mad because we felt like the grass was bad omen and they were trying to hurt us. So when you just think about like that moment of that game, and you think back to what goes on that whole like that drive when Matt does the audible to DJ and he catches it and he goes down the sideline, he trips up, or when Matt tries to go on the sideline, he fumbles out of bounds, and there's just so much that goes on, and then finally they come over to the sideline. I'm kind of thinking, oh, they might call my number because we're on the goal line, we might do something.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know what the play call was. I'm thinking maybe a quarterback sneak. Maybe we get Reggie out real quick and try to dump it off to him. But all I know is we hike the ball and Reggie runs up behind them, and we find a way. And Matt, turns around and he ends up
Yep.
landing in. And at that moment, all you can hear was like, this. You could like drop a needle in there because everybody went silent, other than the USC Trojan fans, and it's like it was the greatest feeling ever. And you're
Yeah.
like, we did it. You know what I mean? It's like because our national championship host was still alive at that point. Um, we knew whoever win that game probably would go on to the Natty. So I'm
Yep.
glad that at that moment we happened to be victorious. But I remember it like yesterday. It's just like that's like what college football is about: the atmosphere, the people screaming, some of their fans rushing the field because they thought that the game was over. They had to push them off, and
So crazy.
you had to look back and see them like walking off, but pissed. It was nothing like that. That was the greatest feeling that was definitely top 5 greatest feelings
Oh,
ever
I'm
on the
sure.
field for sure.
You talk about you guys grinding out a win in that game. I guess as you look at this USC team coming in this week, they're probably riding high, I would assume, after this UCLA win.
Yeah.
What do you think they need to do to maybe not get complacent in this one, to be able to do it again, to finish the season 11-1?
Well, to know that the college playoff berth is still in hopes, the fact that you guys that alone for
Yeah,
me would be play
enough.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, to know that you might have a chance to do that if you win, if you're in. The fact that this is Notre Dame in the game that when you are checked in or when we introduce you guys to what USC football is about, the first thing we say is like I told you last week, we beat UCLA and we beat Notre Dame. Like I don't care, we care, but it's like we don't care much of anything what happens all year as long as we can have those 2 bragging rights. So I think that I think after last week, understanding what that rivalry means, and then now knowing this is like back-to-back rivalry week, I think that these kids know exactly what this means and what's riding and what's on the line. So I think Caleb, just listening to him talking, I think he understands what's at play here. So if anybody can get his troops ready, which he's the leader, and along with Lincoln, I think that he's going to tell them like he's been here before. You can get complacent. You can think that this team's not going to come out and give you their all, but who doesn't want to spoil USC's day more than Notre Dame? Like
Yeah.
that's all I would tell you. Like they are coming to play some football, and Marcus Freeman has those boys playing some real good football.
Yeah,
You
they're
look up,
peaking
they
at
just
the right time.
right. They dominated Clemson 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
They just ran off on these boys last week. They're
Yeah,
looking
they
really
killed
good on
them.
their offense, right? So it's like we're not going into it where it's going to be somebody that's going to lay down. This is not going to be. Well, if USC hasn't noticed all year that because you're USC, nobody's laying down. They're going to come and give you their all every week. I think that that's what's prepared us for this moment now.
You think the game comes down to the defense, the USC defense, sort of again, because I don't think I'm worried again that USC's offense is going to score, right? Like they're going to answer. Do you think it comes down to USC's defense and how they perform?
I think for sure. I
Yeah.
think that it just boils down to them making plays. I see Trail McClutch, my 2-1 partner. I see him out there making plays. I had to hit him up. That's what I'm saying. When you
I'm
wear
sure.
2-1, there's certain people that I'm gonna hit you up and let
It's a
you know
brotherhood, right?
right. Yeah, I congratulated him. Like I just think that like this is the right time to start feeling yourself and understand that you guys can make plays. Again, if they add Gentry, he's one of those guys that I don't care what you say. Like I've seen him play and I watched
Yeah.
that tape on him. He makes things different in the middle of that field. So
Yeah.
I think if he shows up, they give him an extra boost. If not, though, I just think that Grinch also knows
Mhm.
what needs to be done. This is the biggest game of our season right now because
Absolutely.
it means everything for us. Now, if we win and somehow the CFP thinks that we don't deserve it, that's fine. But at least we on our resume it shows that we've beaten two, top 25 teams in the last 2 weeks, and we did it convincingly with a Heisman Trophy winner back there. So um, I'm going to put that out there. I'm a firm believer in saying what you believe, and I
Heck
believe
yeah.
Caleb is our
Manifest it
Heisman.
all day.
Yes, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and I feel that we'll get this win. But I also feel like you said the defense will come to play and they'll give us again some of those league leading turnovers that they've
Mhm.
accustomed to and getting used to getting. So I'm excited to see this one. This is going to be one of those rivalry games or rivalry week where it's going to be on TV. Everybody's going to be watching.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Michigan, they'll definitely
That's
get
the
some.
one you watch in the morning and then you
Yes,
tune
and
in
then
to
later
USC
on,
Notre Dame at night.
it's
Exactly.
going to happen. And I wish I can say Alabama, Auburn, or some shit like that, but ain't nobody really. They're probably going to be looking at what Kiff got going down over there in Ole Miss because chances are he'll be at
Rumor
Auburn
mill.
soon.
I
Ain't no
know.
rumorville. He's crazy. He knows that he has a way better chance at Auburn with that staff and the way that they're going to pay. And I think that some kind of rule in Mississippi only allows them to give like 3-year deals at a time or something like that. And I'm sure that they'll offer him some crazy deals. So I can't wait to see it. And me knowing Kiff, he likes to
Spice things up a little
he
bit.
loves it. So I think he'll end up at Auburn somehow, some way, unless Mississippi ups that money a lot. So I can't wait to see that.
I know. I feel like there's going to be a lot of college football news probably dropping in the next couple of weeks. But I do want to hit on something you said because it's still like shocking to me to even say that USC is in college football playoff
Yeah.
consideration, knowing where we were at this time last year. But if they beat a number 13 ranked Notre Dame on Saturday, do you think if you put yourself in the committee's place that they've done enough? They've made a statement enough to be ranked top four?
It's not even just statement on that. Yes, they've maintained and they've been able to win against teams that are, that you guys have ranked where they ranked
Yeah.
them. I'm not knocking the fact that, my Michigan has to play Ohio State and they might be 2 or 3, but the thing is they don't have to fall far. They can probably, if they lose at 3, they fall to 5, but we just
Yeah.
go to 4. Unfortunately, if you lose at this late, it hurts you.
Yep.
We know that you're playing the number 2 team in the world, but that means that you got to come to play better, right? So I feel like it sucks, but if we lose or whoever loses, then yeah, you don't get the love. That's just what has to happen. But if we win, especially because of the back-to-back top 15 wins that we have
Yeah.
on the schedule, you have to give us some
And in
consideration,
rivalry formats, right? I feel like they
right?
consider that too.
And the way that our quarterback is playing right now,
Yeah.
you have to. I know that one thing about it is when good, bad, or indifferent. I know if we play TCU, Georgia, or whoever we play, I know that our fans are going to show up and show out and that we will be there rooting on those Trojans like nothing. So, and we're going to be putting up some points on the board. I don't just think that people are going to be able to just have their way with us and it's going to be one of them games where we're getting blown out. I just don't see that. So, yes, I believe that if we win, yes, and because somebody has to lose this weekend in the top 4. I can't wait to see how they take that or what they say are, because we haven't had a top 10 victory or, they had a top 10 loss. Like we can't wait to see how they justify it, but we'll see. But I think that if we win, that we have strong consideration for a
Top four.
college football playoff.
Well, yeah, and you have to think of the only losses, right? 1 point on the road to a top 25 team, right? Utah
Again,
still ranked. So
that's been like they've been handling business, right?
so
We can't. Yeah, I can't wait. We're gonna see, and then again, you never know. Then our, the championship game, depending on who we play again, let's be another victory in the top 25. So Yes, this is going to be exciting times. I can't wait to see what goes on. But you can count on me to be showing up to whatever bowl game it is.
Oh
I'll
heck yeah.
definitely be there.
I'm kind of aiming for the Peach Bowl. Let's go to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Atlanta wouldn't be bad, and especially in that new dome. Playing on some turf. Drake London can come on out and hang out
Hey,
with
there
us.
you
Yeah, it'd
go.
be good stuff, man. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Before I let you go, let's talk score prediction. Well, first, actually, who you got in Ohio State, Michigan? Putting you on the spot.
Oh man, I kind of want Michigan to do it just because like Ohio State hasn't been showing us strong.
Hmm.
And if they Michigan beats them, then I think that knocks Ohio State out because of what happens in their last few
Yeah,
weeks
the
of what the best
kind
been
of the way
shown.
they've been winning. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of that, but just knowing that I don't know if Henderson's playing, but I just feel like the passing trio that Ohio State has might affect Michigan this year.
Yeah.
I think it still is a close game. I think that Ohio State finds a way to pull out in the end, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan finds a way. That's just me.
Harbaugh
But
finally gets it
yeah,
done. Makes it
yeah,
back to top four.
yes. And then for us,
Yes.
I see I see like another, high 38s, 40 point, performance to something like a 31, 34. It's not going to be like a easy game by no means. I just feel like we pull off later with Caleb's play. I think Jordan Addison has another amazing day. I think he actually seals his Bolitnikov probably 200 plus because I think, Lincoln understands. He just understands stuff like that. So I think that he has a monster day. And I think that also with our running game that we have a three-legged animal back there that can go crazy at any time. And I think that if they do give Barlow some of those more tougher carries, he'll show exactly what he has. So, and Raleek, he's ready to bust one at any time. It's gonna happen. I can't wait to see it. And Austin Jones is gonna definitely have a monster day. So, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I'll say 45, 35. I don't know, something like
Yeah, I
that.
don't think it's quite a USC UCLA shootout, but I think
Yeah,
Notre Dame definitely put some points on the board for
for
sure.
sure.
There's no doubt about that in my mind. But I agree with you. I think Caleb is gonna solidify his Heisman semifinalist spot. I think we're gonna have a Trojan in New York again, which is wild.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wild.
Yeah, but
The USC video gave me chills that they put out for his Heisman campaign just because it's just so good to see USC in the
yeah.
spotlight again.
It's been a long 10, 15 years.
It's been hard.
We've had some really good players that, have been nationally spotlighted and they've made plays, but when you win and make plays, it's a big difference. So
Yep.
yes, it's good to see our Trojans back like on top. So I hope they continue to fight on this weekend and get us another victory because it's gonna feel really good.
You said it right there. USC taking on Notre Dame under the lights in the Coliseum, 4:30 kick and the 4:30 kickoff. I love it.
Great stuff.
Keep winning USC because as a fan, I am enjoying these kickoff times.
Yes, nothing better than that daytime primetime game. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Well, we'll be back to break it all down. I know we will both be tuned in USC with a chance to not only hopefully send a Heisman hopeful to New York, but also solidify maybe a top four spot in the CFP.
Awesome. Let's
Very
go.
exciting times to be a Trojan. This is Believe in USC podcast presented by Bet Online. I'm Kristen Lago. That is LenDale White. Fight on this week. Let's do it.
Right on, baby.
Notre Shame going down.
Notre Dame's going down, baby. Let's go.